Hello, we have David today, who is a spiritual reader and numerologist. And today we're going to have a chat about how important numbers are, especially for this time frame. And we're going to see David's skill on camera as he dives into my personal numbers, and tells me what's in store for me this year. What are your thoughts right now going on in the world? You just moved to LA from Sydney. Can we just have a bit of an overview of where you're at right now?
Wow, so many changes. Our world is going through so many changes. We're really on a big precipice of being able to create a great shift for humanity and for our world. And it's really offering people an opportunity to really get grounded, meaning landed inside you, meaning not so pulled by all the fears, all the media, all the drama, and to really land in your heart and really live from your heart and trust your heart and to be at peace with yourself in being comfortable to be in your heart. And that changes everything right there. That's a game changer for people right there, because so many people do what they think they're supposed to be doing, what society and the conditioned world believes or wants us to be, or they're doing what other people want them to be and do. And we get so pulled around by all of that that we lose our connection to our center and to our hearts. And when you're in your heart, the next step is to give yourself the gift of being free, to have permission to live and create all the dreams that are in your heart, and to not put your foot on the brakes and to put them on hold because you think you need to be and do all these other things that society or other people want you to do or be, or to do and be everything that we're going to get an interruption. Anyway, to shift, to not be so pulled by outside forces. What we hear on the media, it's such a program like this, or programs that keep getting replayed in different ways to keep people in fear. It's so toxic, and people are so addicted to it because they're so plugged into that programming. And you have to really ask yourself, wow, is this really healthy for me to listen to and tune into all the time? I mean, really, who wants to raise their hand for that? I'm just closing the door. 1 second.
Okay, that's all right.
Never mind, Peter, okay? Yeah, so when you give yourself permission to have what's in your heart for all your dreams and to make that a priority, it really frees you on all levels, because it nurtures you on a soul level. It brings you into balance and harmony and peace, and really creates a heart-filled life.
I feel that way right now, actually. I've been in fear for a lot of my life, and I've just been able to now push through fear. And now I'm fearless. And because I'm fearless, I have all this love and all this, abundance and space. And I feel so good. And I realize you can't really have both. No, you can't. You can't have both. You can't have fear and be in love. And when you're in love, that's when all the beauty happens. It's where all the magic happens, all the peace, all the manifestation.
Yeah. 1 sec. Sorry. No. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah,
this is what I want to tell everyone. Information has as much power as you give it. It's so easy to get caught up in everything you think you're supposed to be doing, you know, everything other people want you to be doing, what people tell you is right or wrong, and everybody's opinions and judgments and all the social pressures about it all. Oh, what are people going to think if I think or say or do this? Who cares? Be a good person. Be true to your heart. Live your life and treat people in the way you would want to be treated, and you're good.
Mm.
People don't always think about the impact of what they do and what they don't do and what it has on the people around them or on the world. So many people have been in survival mode.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And so many people have been out for themselves. Not the most of humanity, but certain people definitely have thought more about themselves than what they can create for themselves and everyone.
And it's almost like we've spent so much time on the outside, on the treadmill, following the shiny things, when in reality we should be thinking about ourselves and taking the time to get back in touch with our feelings, our relationships with nature.
Yeah, what really matters, you know? I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing, you know, to see shows that could be entertaining to some people. I'm not saying it's a bad show, but like Gogglebox, where all these different people are sitting there watching different TV shows and commenting on it.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, is that what everything has come down to? That of how people hold what they could be spending their time on and doing with their lives. It doesn't feel like, for some people, it could be a great way of tuning out. But if you tune out too much, you don't tune back in.
No, we
And
it
doesn't feel like, and I'm not saying it's a bad choice, it doesn't feel like a very switched on choice.
It doesn't sound like an evolved choice. We are meant to be, we're meant to be evolving forward. And when you sit in front of the TV and watch dumb things that have no substance, our brains become less useful and more used.
Our brains are like sponges, and we'll absorb everything we expose our brain sponge to.
And most of the people are sponging from the information on the news and the mainstream. And if we were to just disconnect and just let that go, we'd have more space to do these things.
And why do we need that? Why do we need to plug into that? Why do we need that narrative? What do people feel like they're going to be missing out on, not plugging into that?
Yeah.
Probably nothing. Probably your lives will be better off for it.
Yeah.
On every level.
Yeah. I know I became a lot smarter when I turned off the television. I had more room to explore, investigate what I love to do.
And when I coach people, I often ask people, what do you do with your time? How do you spend it? What are you creating with it?
That's right. Because that's your secret sauce. Whatever you're motivated to do and do again, that's what your passion is. And we should all be following our passions and figuring out how we can contribute our passions and our gifts to the world as a collective. And right now we're sitting in cubicles with our heads to the computer.
Yes. And there was a famous movement teacher from the eastern part of Russia named Gurdjieff. And Gurdjieff traveled around the world and studied different systems of knowledge and took the best of what he was able to verify that worked from each of those systems. And he created his own system by putting them all together. The best of what he was able to verify that worked.
Mm.
And he was kind of a controversial figure, yet very disciplined and very awake. And he developed what's called Gurdjieff work or fourth way work, which his students took and disseminated in different ways through different schools. So there's different schools and thinking in the work. And a lot of it is done in groups because the energy and the momentum of a group can grow people much faster and further than what one would accomplish individually, because you have the group's perspectives and experiences all being shared and worked on, and the energy is just amplified by the group energy.
Mm.
So a lot of it's done in groups. It's brilliant work if you find a group that's presented in a kind of a user-friendly way, or a way that is more heart-centered, because it can get a little heady.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's Gurdjieff believed that everybody is asleep, but the issue is most people don't realize they're asleep. They think that they're awake. Mm-hmm. Yet our lives and what occurs in our world would be much different if that were the case. Mm-hmm. Because we're very mechanical. Mm. And so a lot of that work is to break out of those mechanics. Mm. And we are very mechanical, very machine-like, until we begin to observe ourselves and change things up. It's interesting.
That's what I had to do. I had to completely change things up. I had to disrupt my whole life to find my inner peace and my inner happiness. And as we, come into the second half of 2020, I did a post last year about this being the year of vision and seeing clearly. And part of the waking up process is that part, is waking up to this the evilness of the world. It's a very difficult process because your ego, which is trying to protect you from the evil, has to be moved aside so you can comprehend what's really happening. And that process alone is a scary process. But when you're doing it in a group, as a team, it's easier and it's helpful when you're with people that can share the knowledge and be a mastermind almost.
When we start to live our lives from within, our lives become wealthier and richer for it. We don't need as much. We're not subject to the same kinds of laws, even though we all have to respect law. We're not subject to the same kind of laws in how most people live their lives, because we become freer. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, when people are in their conditioning, meaning the culture that they've been brought up in, living in that country where they've been brought up with family values and thinking and religious values and thinking and cultural values and thinking, they're all entwined in all of that conditioning. And when you break out of your culture, as you have and as I have in the past, mm-hmm. and live in a different culture, you're free enough of it, mm-hmm. to be able to see it and observe it for what it is when you go back to your original country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a good way of putting it.
But when you're in your original country, you do have to pay attention to those constructs. Mm-hmm. And it takes a little bit more of an effort in your observations and actions to not be entrapped in them or allowing them to run the show or be bigger.
Mm. So, what do you think of 2020 as the year of vision? What are the numbers in the 2020? Because as from the sky, I understand that this is a very, very powerful time in the sky. But what about the numbers that we're seeing?
Well, it adds up to 4.
2020.
2020, which 4 is the heart. There's 4 chambers. So it represents self-love and nurturing from one's heart. And when we spoke earlier about living from the heart, this year is an opportunity for that. As all these things become revealed this year, because it is a year of a great revealing, as things become revealed this year, it's really an opportunity for everyone to let go, take a pause, connect with your heart, and recommit to living from your heart. And when you live in your heart, you know that you're safe no matter what. You feel your connection to everything, and you know that you're a part of it all, and you can embrace life in a whole new way that's free of fear, that's more at peace, that's more fulfilling. That's a really good word. And connected. Connected's a good word. And conscious.
And content.
Yeah, that too. Definitely. Content.
I feel all that right now. I mean, David, I can't tell you, I have been through hell and back, but I have pushed through, and everything that you said is exactly, I mean, to the T of how I feel.
I have never, and I'm not saying this from an arrogant place, okay? I have never been in fear of getting COVID. The whole time. I've just felt so held by life and by, Creator, and know that I have a purpose here. And whether I got COVID or not, I know I'm going to be here for that purpose, And it's just so clear to me. I know that I haven't fulfilled my purpose. Everything in my life has prepared me up until now, and I know it's coming. And the thing is, if you're listening to this, believe me, you have a purpose here, okay? You're definitely, your soul is wanting to be on a conscious path, listening to this or watching this and being a part of this. You are much more on a path of waking up and awakening, being part of this energy, because it is an energy of consciousness and people who are really here to shift the world. And within our lifetimes, we will be consciously connected with other races from other worlds and other planets. We will have traveled to other planets. We will have all of that and more in our lifetimes. It's coming.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I know. This time right now is so exciting. I'm sitting on the seat, every day I wake up to see what's going to be on a horizon today. And I feel great too. And I get, more and more confident and more connected to like-minded people. And I think this event is bringing us together too. It's bringing us all the like-minded people together and making everybody known who is who. And
people needed to get clear about that. Forces that have been trying to control the narrative on the planet, and forces that have been trying to have control over humanity have been doing their best to keep people in fear and to divide people. And really, it's about uniting and coming together. No, we don't have to have all these divisions, and to know that we're all here sharing this planet together. And that's going to shift everything, because it's going to connect people more with their life, more with their purpose, more with living a life that has meaning, not a life that's draining. It can be so draining to be in paperwork all the time. You know, I'm not saying things aren't necessary in the way that they've been set up with taxes or visas or whatever, but it's so much paperwork and bureaucracy. And it's not like the governments are going to save our planet completely, because most of the governments are pretty dysfunctional. I went to one thing where they said the entrepreneurs are going to shift this world, because the entrepreneurs reach for the stars and they don't get plugged into all the bureaucracy and paperwork, and they just make things happen.
I'm an entrepreneur by heart, and I can see my entrepreneurs coming out right now as I try and awaken the world. And you know, I encourage people to have an open mind as we are moving through these next few months.
Well, people just get to look at what is plugging into and watching the toxic fear-based media all the time getting you. How is that improving your life? How is that improving the lives of your families? Listening to that garbage and narrative all the time. And the other thing is, you know, it's the grace that wakes people up. It doesn't have to be a big dramatic process to wake up. It can be really easy.
Well, let's say that there is somebody in front of you right now. There's somebody in the audience members that are asleep. What are the things that you can say to wake them up right now?
I would say trust your heart. I would say give yourselves the freedom and permission to experience, create, and live all the dreams that you have inside your heart, and to make those a priority. I would say, what kind of world are you committed to creating? And what kind of impact will that have on it in our world? And what kind of legacy are you committed to creating with the gift of your life for all future generations in this world? And how can we respect one another more? Because people take care of what they respect. How can we respect indigenous cultures and indigenous people and elderly and value them and all their wisdom and everything that they have to contribute through their knowledge, wisdom, life experiences, and really watch yourselves. This is for all of us. If you think you know it all and have all the answers, you don't.
Okay. So here I am thinking I've got the whole plot sorted. You're saying, no, there's more to come. I know
there's so much more that we don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's the beauty of investigating and exploring. You get to learn something new every day. And I do learn every day. Ever since I stopped watching the news, I'm like this sponge of information. And
we have so much we can learn from everyone, because everyone, no matter what status or culture or walk of life someone is from, they all have different experiences
Mm.
that can add value to what's occurring.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow. Well, I would hate to be selfish and ask for a personal reading, but can we dive into my numbers, please?
Yeah. So I added up your birthday, your month and day, and this year you're in a 26/8 year, which is a power year of accomplishment, but it makes you rethink everything. Like, 8 is karma, but it's also power. And so it's really taking your power back in a new way and getting ready to birth something for the world. And the 6 is in the middle of it, because if I look at 26/8, 6 is in the middle, which is the Divine Mother.
Wait, so you have my right birthday?
Yeah, 220.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and I
something-
add that together, and I get 22.
Yeah.
And then I add 4 from 2020 to 22, and I get 26.
Why do you do 20 to 22?
Because your birthday's on the 20th, and I add 2 for February,
Yeah.
and I
And you
get
didn't
20.
take in my year of birth, the year?
No, I only take the year of birth when I'm doing your life lesson number or your career number or your blueprint for your life,
Okay.
which is interesting. But so your month and day adds up to 22. Then I take 4 from 2020, and that's why I get 26, which shows me the year you're in.
Okay.
So it's a huge manifesting, actualizing year for you, where you can accomplish a lot and you meet powerful people, influential people, important people. But the 6 is at the center of it, because if you have the 2 on one side and the 8 that it adds up to on the other side, the 6 is in the middle, and that's Divine Mother.
Wow.
Beauty, healing, light, and compassion, unconditional love, family. That's at the heart of it for you. But it's universal family of our world. It's the family of humanity besides your own family. There's an enlightened teacher who I've followed for many years, who I really love, named Amma. She's from India, and she travels around the world giving blessings called darshan in the form of hugging people. And she says, few people have the karma to walk into the same room as an enlightened teacher. And just by walking into the same room that she's in, your life becomes a canceled check. And it's really true. And she says that, Amma says that most people know they need to take care of themselves and their families. But when they wake up, they realize they need to take care of the world.
That's funny. I just posted last night. I said, when I learned about their depopulation plan, I was shocked beyond belief. When I discovered that it was true, I wanted to change the world.
Yeah, it is really shocking what a lot of the power players have done to manipulate humanity and the world to their advantage. And they're like the 1%. And a perfect example of the 1%, which some people call cabal or deep state, is to look at that movie called Elysium. That depicts the 1% perfectly. Elysium's a great movie.
What's in the numbers for this situation on the planet? Are the 1%ers going to win, or are we going to rise?
Humanity gets to the consciousness of the planet. The Earth gets priority above humanity. The Earth gets priority above humanity. Humanity will be here. Humanity will come through. We're in the process of birthing a new world. That takes a little while. we're in like the birth canal now, and the new world really shows up in 225.
Right.
And, you know, it can happen a lot easier. As my friend Mana says, it's as gentle as we are with ourselves. So if we're gentle with ourselves, it will be more gentle in the world around us. Because everything that's playing out is a reflection of the battle that's going on within ourselves. That if we shift our own battles inside, it shifts on the outside. Because it's all connected. Well, it mirrors.
Yeah, my life is being mirrored right now with this situation as well. It's interesting. Very interesting times to be alive.
It's totally interesting, and it's interesting to see how attached people are to certain things that really don't have an importance compared to the things that, if they were going to give more energy and importance to, their whole lives and the whole world would be different.
Speaking of attachment, you said something earlier off camera. People are attached to their masks. As we conclude this chat, can we give the audience just a few tips on how to become unattached to your mask?
You know, it's been shocking to me being back in the States to see how paranoid people can be, and how they've just given their power over to some of their fears, and they feel they need the mask in order to survive or be safe. And that is such an illusion. You know, I think a lot of people have a fear of being sick, which I can understand. But really, when you fear things, you attract them. And how is a cloth like this really going to make a difference if you keep breathing in the same recycled air through it with whatever germs, even if people wash their mask every day? Okay, and I do wear mine here in the States when I go to stores or the gym or to public places where there's people, out of respect for community. However, to look at and notice the level of attachment that people have to them could make the whole drama of this whole thing last way longer than it ever needs to. And that's the invitation, to take a look at that, like, wow, where is this need coming from? Is it completely fear-based?
Yeah.
And why has the mask become so all important? It's not the key for survival. It only may be presented to be that. Bless you.
Thank you. I wasn't wearing a mask, sorry.
And that's what I loved about living in Australia when I was living there, is that people weren't forced to wear masks. They didn't have to. It was a choice. We're here in the US, you know, that it's not the same kind of
energy
or situation.
Yeah, it's I can feel the pressure over in America, really. I mean, I thought these police were there to serve and protect us, and the energy that you see in America is so totalitarian. It feels so strong. And
a lot of the police are really good. A lot of the police are really good people. They want to do good and they want to help people. But there's a lot of different agendas at play. in our world right now, and a lot of disinformation.
Mm. Yeah. Well. All right, David. Well, are there any parting thoughts that we should share with the audience as we conclude this chat?
Absolutely. I'm doing a life navigation talk this next weekend at a wellness conference online.
Uh-huh.
And it's the link to the wellness conference. They're only charging like $10 US to go to the conference, and it has like 60 different speakers.
Yeah.
It's it's wellnesslifestyleconference.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then if anyone wants to do some work with me individually through a reading or some coaching sessions, or if you want me to look at your numerology chart or any way I could serve you, my website is innerprecision.com.
Oh, yay. Thank you so much, David. And you know what? I'm so grateful to be connected. Like Jules said, I think we should have you as a regular visitor just to give us some inspirational wisdom from time to time. Give us some of your words. I really feel lighter after this conversation. And a lot more
Thank you. You know, I've never lost my faith in humanity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our world holds so many good people,
mm-hmm.
and so many honest people,
mm-hmm.
and that's going to grow.
Mm-hmm. And now there's a reason for us to all stand up, stand and rise.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm so glad to be on this journey with you, David. David Groode, thank you very much. Groode. Thank you so much. Thank you. And that's innerprecision.com. And we will be speaking to you again one of these days. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here with you all. Thank you.